My name is Danielle Gross, and today I want to talk to you about cooperative learning groups in the elementary classroom. First, I want to show you how I plan to incorporate cooperative learning groups in my classroom. At the beginning of the year, we're going to start off with numbers. Every student will be given a number, 1 through however many we have in the class, and it'll just go in alphabetical order. We use this for a variety of functions, but one of those is cooperative learning group assignments. Alright, so every student will know their number. Now when it's time to get into our cooperative learning groups, how will students know where to go? They will look to our handy dandy chart. And I've set it up as a grid telling them which group they're in and also their role during the group. So to find this out, we'll have to look for our number. So say my number is 2. I'll look up and I'll find my number, which is right here, and I'll look across to see what color group I'm in. So I see that I'm in the orange group, so I take a bracelet and I just put that on. Now I want to know what is my role during the group. So I find my number again and I look down and I see I'm the writer, yeah! So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to grab the orange VIP lanyard that says writer. And I'm going to put this on so I don't forget my role and my group members all know who the writer is. On the back, it tells me what a writer does and what a writer does not do. So I know when I'm in my group what I should be doing and what I should not be doing. I really like doing it this way because it's just easy for me as the teacher to say, okay, these are the kids that work well together and these are the type roles. You don't have to assign the roles. I could just take these out and say what group everyone's in and let them decide their own roles. And how I would do that is I would just take the lanyards for each group and I would put them in their supply buckets. And then when the materials manager gets the bucket, so this is the green team's bucket, they would just take this out and decide amongst themselves who wants to be which role. I would probably not do that for the first month of school probably because I just don't want the fighting. I'm kind of a micromanager when it comes to that. I like to make things as hassle-free as possible. So if I can assign your roles, you're not wasting time arguing about it, that you could be doing work. As you can see, I have the bucket already ready for the students. So the materials manager would just go to the bucket area in the classroom. They'll be on a shelf for group buckets and they'll take that out and it has everything they need. So if this is a math lesson, they have their rulers and their pencils and their these are just big index cards to write on and their crayons. I also included a handy dandy talking stick, which I just really made with a paper towel roll, so you know, if it hurts somebody it won't hurt. And just sparkled it up some, and the idea is whoever's holding the talking stick is the one who's sharing at that time, and the other group members are listening respectfully to the person with the talking stick. Alright, and then we'll just clean those up. It's easy cleanup, it's easy preparation, they're not going all over the room, I need this, I need that. It's all right there for them. It takes work on my part, but it saves me a headache of, you know, while I'm trying to do small group interventions, having to go pull out glue sticks and things for them then. So I want to take a second and talk to you about the different role assignments that I did with my groups. We'll start by looking at the role of the leader. The leader is really someone who is going to start the conversation with the group, handle the talking stick, and make sure everyone participates. You also see they do respect the ideas of others and they do not make rude comments. This is the role of the writer. It's pretty self-explanatory. The writer writes down all the data for the group, but they also have to participate. And you'll see in all of these, everyone is to respect the ideas of others and not make rude comments. The role of the presenter, again, self-explanatory. At the end of the project, when it's time to share with the class, this is the presenter's job. I also wanted to make sure to put on here that they are not to let everyone else do all the work and just wait. The materials manager is in charge of collecting the materials at the beginning, so they get the bucket like we said earlier. They also make sure that everyone is using the materials properly and cleaning them up at the end and putting them away. The next we have the timekeeper. This is the person who watches the clock, and they also help to redirect the group and keep them on task so that they don't run out of time. They're going to be held accountable for that. You can add more members to this depending on your class size. You actually might even have to take away if you have a small class, or if you are, EIP or the special education teacher where you have a smaller group of students, or even GTE. You might have to cut down and, put some of these roles together. Like the leader could also be the timekeeper, or the writer could also be the presenter. Either way. You could also add more if you have a large class, which I know is becoming a big thing to have large class sizes. You could add an illustrator if you have someone who's artistic and it's a project that needs something drawn. You could have a co-presenter. You could have a co-materials manager, just as you need. I wouldn't let the group's members exceed 6. 4 to 6 is proven to be the best sizes for these cooperative learning groups. So if you get to the point where you've added on a job, then you need to just add another color group, which is easy to do if you don't have this restraining little chart. You could put magnets on the back of these numbers and just stick them right on your whiteboard, and it might be easier to manipulate. One more element to my plan is having a group survey. At the end of each group activity, students will be asked to fill out this survey. The first question says, which group were you in? Then it asks, what was your role? And did you enjoy your own role? And they just circle yes or no. Then it asks students to rate their groups on a scale of 1 to 3 stars. And when we start out the year and we go over all of our procedures and we introduce groups, we're going to discuss this star rating, with 1 being, I didn't enjoy working with this group, 2 being, it was okay, we got our work done, and number 3 stars being that it was excellent, I loved being with this group. And the next question says, did everyone in your group participate? Hopefully it could be a yes/no question answer, or this could be their chance to say, well, everyone except Bobby did their role, for example. Then the next one kind of feeds into that, and it says, were there any problems I should know about? I incorporated this so that hopefully when students get in the rhythm of doing this, they won't feel the need to come up to me and tattle during group times. If they're, having an issue, they can resolve it, but then if they still feel the need to let me know, they can write it on their survey, and I can still be aware that maybe this is not a combination of students who works well together. And then the last question is my favorite. It says, who was the best team player in your group today? And students won't be able to write their own names. That's why I have their name written on the top. But I really want them to see this and then get in the habit of just using, I will use this as a positive reinforcer, and just really my hope is that it will motivate them to want to be great team players so that their group members will nominate them. And it also helps them recognize these good efforts and successes in their classmates. This survey can be modified as the year goes on. I feel like this is a really good introductory one, or for the lower grades who really aren't confident writers yet. It's just easy, yes, no, and really the only big writing besides a few words would be if there are any problems to report. Just because I try to keep things simple that are like this. It should be a quick activity, but for the struggling writers or emergent writers who are stopping to spell every word. This could take longer than what you really have time for too in your classroom. Another way to assess would be to do little video interviews. Is something I want to incorporate. Obviously, I don't have time to do that with every student every time, but maybe choose, one specific position per day that could come back and do a brief interview with me and tell me verbally about their group experience, and then we could get a little more in detail. I just didn't want to ask for all that in writing, as it can be a struggle for some students. I hope that you found this instructive and inspiring, and hopefully maybe you can use my methods in your classroom. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. Thank you.